My name is Steve Yalo, and in 2019, I spent 4 months in Sri Lanka. That's a quarter of the year here, and I've learned so much, so I just want to share some insight with you. If you're planning on traveling here, I hope these tips help you, and even if you're not planning on traveling around here, I just want to show you a little bit as to what it's like to be here in Sri Lanka. By the way, I make videos about travel with the intent of sharing tips and advice to make your trips a little bit smoother. And I do this all around the world, so if you want to see more, click that subscribe button to join the adventures. Also, this video is sponsored by NordVPN, but we'll talk more about that later. For now, let's review the top 10 things you need to know before coming to Sri Lanka. So the first thing I want to talk about is something you will do every day, multiple times a day, which is eat some food. So let's talk about the food here. If you're staying in a hotel or a nicer place, there will most likely be a restaurant for you to order food there. But if you're looking for a more local experience, you want to see what real Sri Lankan food is like, let me show you what that's like. Sri Lankan lunch consists of rice and curry, and there are so many different types of curries. Usually places will offer a buffet style and you can choose what you like. Typically a lot of vegetables with different spices and flavors. Sometimes they have meat options. Most common are chicken and fish. And right here I have the typical Sri Lankan lunch. As you can see, rice with 4 different types of curry. And just to warn you a little bit and get you more comfortable, if you want to really experience Sri Lanka like a local, a true local will not use any utensils when they eat. We have fingers and these are utensils essentially. So let me just show you the proper way how to eat if you want to use your hands to eat in Sri Lanka. So I was doing this wrong when I first got here and someone taught me how to do it. Essentially, you use these 4 fingers as a shovel and then this thumb is a little pusher like this. So here, so you take it, you bunch it up, you get a little bit right on your hands, and as I said, this is basically a platform, like a shovel to scoop it up. And then you take your thumb and just push it like that, all right? So you don't shove your whole hand inside your mouth. That's what I was doing when I first got here. Instead, you just take it, you put it right up to your lips, and you go. And by the way, you don't have to eat with your hands like this. Every place you go to, as a foreigner, they will offer you a fork and a spoon, but you know, it's just more fun to try to live like a local a little bit. So I dare you to try it. So after a lovely Sri Lankan meal, you might find yourself right here in the toilet. And one tip I want to give you is this thing right here. If you come from a Western country, you might not be familiar with this thing. See this hose? Yeah, this is to clean your butt with right after you do the dirty. I like to call it a bum gun, but you can call it whatever you want. And the tip I want to give you is about this right here. This is essentially the water pressure. If you turn it all the way, it'll cut it off, but sometimes you'll notice when you spray it, it might be super strong, and that doesn't really feel too comfortable on your no-no spot. So you might want to tighten that up a little bit so the pressure is a little bit more relaxed. There you go, more comfy. I know that might be a little weird tip, but I just figured I'd share. It's something you're definitely gonna encounter here in Sri Lanka, and that pressure might be too strong sometimes. So test it out and make sure it's a good pressure for you. Okay, now I wanna talk about internet. So depending on where you stay, most places will offer Wi-Fi, but I've been encountering an issue where the signal has not been too strong. So I've actually been relying on my data. I got a local SIM card. Now here in this country, there are 2 major service providers, Dialog and Mobitel. I personally have been using Dialog. It seems to be more popular and I've heard the service is stronger. I've never used Mobitel, so I can't compare them, but Dialog, it's been great. There's good service almost everywhere in the country, and it's pretty cheap. I recently just topped up for 949 rupees, which is like less than $6, and I got 16 gigabytes of data. It's probably most convenient when you arrive in the airport to get a SIM card there. You don't have to put a lot of data on it. Typically it will be a little bit more expensive in the airport, but it's most convenient to just get it right there. And then you could always top up later online or any of the Dialog stores all around the country. And now that we are on the topic of internet, I want to mention the sponsor of this video, which is NordVPN. There are a lot of benefits to using a VPN. Do you know what a VPN is? I want to quickly explain what a VPN is. It stands for Virtual Private Network. Essentially what a VPN does, it keeps all of your data and personal information secure and private. So to break it down simply, when you're using a computer or cell phone, you're sending your data to a source, like a website, right? But now when you use a VPN, like NordVPN, that data is going through NordVPN server and then to the website. So your data is being encrypted, so there's no way for them to trace back to you. Now, this has multiple benefits. One, the privacy. They cannot access your personal information. So no one can hack your computer, and valuable information like your banks, your passwords, all this stuff is safe and secure. No worries there. Now, there are also some other benefits like traveling. Since I travel so much, it's really important to keep all my information secure. So as I use a VPN, like for example, if I log into a Wi-Fi in an airport or a hotel, now all of my personal data is essentially vulnerable because I'm using someone's network. But if I use a virtual private network, all of this is private and it's going through the middleman. So NordVPN is essentially the middleman to keep you safe. Also some really cool benefits if something is blocked in your country. But with a VPN, you can choose which country you want to use NordVPN server, as they have servers all over the world. So those are some benefits with using a VPN, and NordVPN right now is offering a special holiday discount. You can save 81%. Get that, 81% off. That's crazy. Go to nordvpn.org/Steve Yalo or just use the promo code Steve Yalo and you get two, not one, but two amazing gifts. So this deal is for a 3-year plan. You're covered for 3 years. And if you use this promo code, you get an extra 4 months. 4 months for free, yeah. And the second gift you get in this package is NordPass Password Manager, completely free. So this is essentially a tool to keep all your passwords safe, organized, and it handles all that for you and takes all the stress away from your passwords. You know, every time you log into things, well, now there's a super easy tool to handle all that for you. Just this password manager alone is $195, but you get it for free. That's right, free 99. So that's 3 years of NordVPN plus the extra 4-month bonus with the NordPass Password Manager. And all of that comes out to only $3.49 a month. What? That's so cheap. That's like less than a cup of coffee, depending on where you live. Maybe 2 cups of coffee, I don't know. But it's cheap, $3 a month, guys. Come on, keep everything safe. This is internet security right here. So it's really not just like a luxury item. This is almost something you need nowadays. So don't risk having all of your information stolen and all of your passwords breached. Get secure with NordVPN. Link is in the description, nordvpn.org/Steve Yalo. Again, Steve Yalo is the promo code. Use that, have a great time. All right, let's go. Okay, let's quickly talk about accommodation in Sri Lanka. Now, there are a variety of different options for people, all the way from more luxury high-end hotels and villas that can range from $100 to $200+ a night, all the way down to guest houses and hostels that you can even find some for lower than $10 a night. So that's good, there's an option for everybody. So let's quickly talk about how to find and book accommodation. If you're looking for a more social atmosphere, I would recommend staying in a hostel. Great for solo travelers or anyone who's just looking for more either cheaper or more social places to meet other travelers. If you're looking for a hostel, I always recommend using hostelworld.com. This is a website and also a mobile app you can find on your phone. I'll leave a link in the description to hostelworld.com. But if you want a more private place, I've been using Airbnb a lot of times because I've been finding some really unique places. Like this one time I found this private cabana right on the beach, on a private beach. So nice and pretty cheap. It was only about $35 a night. Also found some cool places like a tree house in the mountains, and also a villa near a national park. So I've been finding some cool places through Airbnb. And if you want to use Airbnb, I've actually teamed up with them to offer a discount to you. So check the link in the description for $40 off any Airbnb anywhere in the world. Okay, so if you're traveling around Sri Lanka, you need to get from place to place. So let's talk about transportation. You have a few options how to get around this country. If your budget allows for it, you can hire a private driver to take you around in a car or a van. Or if you're traveling solo, plenty of places offer shared rides, typically in a van from one city to the next. Or for a cheaper option, there is public transportation. Buses drive everywhere, and there's a solid train system in Sri Lanka as well. If you're around a main city like Colombo, you can use ride-sharing apps like Uber or PickMe and Yogo. If you arrive at the airport, this is probably your best option since it's super convenient and you can rely on it to be trustworthy. Just get an Uber to wherever you're staying first, and then you can figure out transportation from there. For shorter rides, there are these three-wheeled machines everywhere called tuk-tuks that you can use as a taxi. And you can even rent one to drive yourself through a company called tuktukrental.com. Personally, this is my favorite way of getting around Sri Lanka. It's super convenient to have your own vehicle to drive wherever and whenever you want. But ultimately, it is just so fun to be able to drive this tuk-tuk around. If you want more information, like how much it'll cost, go to tuktukrental.com and use code SteveYalo for a discount. Hey. So I don't want this video to be only about me. I want to include some other people in it. So over here I have my friend Tal from the YouTube channel The Traveling Clat, and he wants to share some tips for you as well. So Tal, what do you want the people to be aware of when they come to Sri Lanka?
Wildlife, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh.
One of the most amazing aspects of traveling in Sri Lanka is the wildlife, the many amazing organisms, flora and fauna you will find across the country. When you come and visit the country, keep in mind the Sri Lankan Big Five. Just like Africa, Sri Lanka has its Big Five animals that you want to keep an eye out for, that you might see whether you're on safari or just browsing on the day-to-day. This is the elephant, the Sri Lankan elephant, the leopard, the Sri Lankan leopard, which you'd also find, including the sloth bear, the sperm whale, and the blue whale. These are the Sri Lankan Big Five, and you'll be able to find them in various areas around the country. For the first three, the terrestrial animals, you're really only going to find them on safari in different parts of the country, like Udawalawe, Yalo National Park, Kadula, in different areas across the country that have safari tours organized. But of course, besides safaris, you will encounter animals on the day-to-day here. That's what makes traveling in this country so amazing. Things like land monitors and Nile monitors. You'll see them pretty much everywhere, from the city streets of Colombo to the jungles of the south. The many different types of birds that fly around this country, like the incredible peacocks, which you will see occasionally on the side of the road, national parks, or just in the middle of the city, hornbills, and even the amazing green, vibrant bee eaters. And of course, Sri Lanka is an island, so you're surrounded by water and incredible marine life. Across the country, there are remnants of coral reefs that once were very flourishing, now not so much, but you will be able to find turtles, amazing sea turtles that hang around these areas. Anywhere from Colombo to down south to up north, there are sea turtles pretty much surrounding you on all parts of the island. And one of the biggest things that you should keep in mind when you come here and are seeing the wildlife and interacting with them, whether that's seeing an elephant on the side of the road or swimming next to a sea turtle, do not touch these animals. They're wild animals, and they're not supposed to interact with human beings on a level of touch. They don't understand what you are as a person, and all they see you as either as a threat or food. So do not feed them, do not touch them, and try your best, if you really need to take a selfie with them, to keep distance, because some of these animals can be unpredictable, some of them can be dangerous, and general rule of thumb, when you're seeing wildlife, just try to appreciate them from afar and give them their respect.
Okay, so we got a tip from Tal from The Traveling Clat, but now we have Brandon from the YouTube channel Escaping Comfort Zone, and he has a Sri Lanka travel tip for you.
Alright, so my tip is about tipping. So do you have to tip in Sri Lanka, yes or no? It's not really custom to tip, say, in restaurants, but I found traveling through Sri Lanka that when doing tours or like safaris, they kind of expect a tip. So I've been tipping from 500 to 1,000 rupees. So like if you want to tip, you can. You're not obliged to do it, but that is the tip on tipping.
So while traveling around Sri Lanka, there are a lot of temples you can visit, and To go inside, it is required for you to dress appropriately. And usually this means having something on your body that's gonna cover your knees. So at least pants that go beyond your knees, and also no shoes. I typically just wear flip-flops or sandals or whatever you call them, and take them off easily. But if you're wearing sneakers, it's required for you to take them off. Also, I've been carrying a sarong with me, which is something that I can just wrap around me and tie real quick. It covers all my legs. You don't necessarily have to get a sarong, just something you can bring with you that will cover your legs if you're wearing shorts, and also your shoulders if you have exposed shoulders. Just dress appropriately when you go to a temple. And speaking about temples, there are different religions and also different cultures in this country that I just want to mention briefly, not dive too deep into the differences of religions, but just to mention them so you are aware and can recognize the differences. So typically in the South, there is a lot of Sinhalese culture, which is made up of either Buddhist or Christians. And in the North, you find more of a Tamil culture, which is Hindu and Muslim. Now, they also do integrate all over the country. It's not just in the North or South, but traditionally that's where they divided, and now they are integrating with each other a lot more often. So as you travel around the country, you'll see different types of temples, whether they be Hindu or Buddhist temples or Muslim mosques or even Catholic and Christian churches. So it's interesting to spot these out as you travel, because within this island there are multiple cultures and religions all coexisting with each other. So it's nice to be able to recognize the differences between everything and just be aware that there are different people here. I don't know why I just did that. And my final tip for you is to get here sooner rather than later. If you have any interest in traveling around Sri Lanka, come now. Book your ticket, just get here, because it is inevitable that this country will change. Tourism is growing rapidly. Over the next few years, I can envision some of these major tourist spots growing and evolving and more businesses coming in. So with that, things will change. It might not be bad. I'm really hoping that Sri Lanka will be able to handle the influx of tourists that are coming here. So with that being said, if you have any interest in coming to Sri Lanka, do it. Book that ticket, get here now. You're gonna enjoy it, I guarantee it. Alright, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. If you're still watching, please click that like button, and if you're not already, subscribe so you can join more adventures. Alright, I'll see you in the next video. Peace. Oh, again, thank you to NordVPN for sponsoring this video. Guys, check the link in the description of this video. NordVPN, seriously, cover yourself, get protected on the internet. Stay safe out there. Alright, see you in the next video. Peace.